Now, I do think that the Phoenix Saga could have been explored eventually in its own movie, but not by merging it with another. Fox's X-Men films have had their ups and downs for sure, and one of the franchise's failures was the final film of the original trilogy, 2005's The Last Stand. This film is one of the first examples of how not to do a superhero film. Now, not every part of this film is terrible, as it even has what I consider to be some of the franchise's best moments, like when Mystique becomes a normal human and we get to see Magneto's true face. X-Men The Last Stand had a great idea in mind for a solid ending to the trilogy, but it ended up being crowded out by so many other elements that got thrown in. The film is essentially two movies in one. The first film follows the mutant cure and how that fractures the mutants around the world and how they respond to it. The second film follows the return of Jean Grey as the Phoenix and the tragic end of her love triangle with Cyclops and Wolverine. I think the film should have stuck with the first plot of the mutant cure because the Phoenix story is hard enough to adapt into its own movie, and here they try and stick it in with another. This results in the movie being unnecessarily bloated and showing the first signs of Fox's big mistakes when it came to the handling of characters and stories. The film's plot of the mutant cure sets up the final battle between Professor X's X-Men and Magneto's Brotherhood of Mutants. Humans have created the perceived greatest threat, making Magneto's historic claims true. His agenda now has just what it needs to bring in an army of mutants to fight for him. The story brings Magneto to being his most evil and tortured self, as he has become what he has hated for so long. The scene that shows this perfectly is when Mystique receives the cure and Magneto just casts her aside. This storyline finally shows without a doubt the difference between him and his greatest friend and worst enemy, Professor Xavier. This sounds really good, right? Well, unfortunately, that's the film we did not get. The film makes the main conflict between Wolverine and Jean Grey, aka Phoenix, culminating in his choice to save everybody by killing her. This plotline picks up on how Jean sacrificed herself at the end of X2 United. Now, I do think that the Phoenix Saga could have been explored eventually in its own movie, but not by merging it with another. I have never liked the Wolverine and Jean Grey dynamic in these movies, but that's beside the point. This story makes a fundamental mistake that unfortunately would never be fixed in the Fox X-Men films, ever, and that is the characterization of Cyclops. These movies make Scott Summers look like a wimp that can't handle his emotions and focus on the task at hand. In this case, they were trying to elevate Wolverine by making him the alpha and having Cyclops be the beta. But this should not have happened. Cyclops needed to be the leader on the ground in the war against the Brotherhood. Other huge character missteps in this film include killing off Charles Xavier in the first act only to have him come back at the end of the Wolverine, making his death in this film unnecessary. Rogue having her subplot of choosing whether or not to take the cure only for it to mean nothing for the film and franchise. Introducing Ben Foster as the Angel in the first act, having him show up for a few seconds halfway through the movie, only to have him do only one thing in the final fight. And you can group in Kelsey Grammer as Hank McCoy, aka Beast, for being underutilized as well. Oh yeah, where the heck did Nightcrawler go? Anyway, as you can see, the finale of the X-Men trilogy misses the mark on many of its characters and storylines. Hello everyone, welcome back to Movies with Michael, and if you enjoyed this video essay, you can show by leaving a like on this video and comment down below whether you agree with my thoughts on this film or not, and consider clicking that subscribe button and clicking the notification icon to be notified about my latest videos. That's all for now, and I'll see you all next time.